Welcome to the Full-Time Life podcast. I'm Steph. Full-time life is based on the idea that the concept of work-life balance is flawed. There's no such thing as work separate and apart from life. It's all just life. And it's up to each of us to find our own personal formula of balance within this life so that we can live it to the hilt. This week's episode was recorded in a closet over Thanksgiving weekend while visiting my parents. I was joined by Matt Taylor, who we know because he bartends and shucks oysters at the local cult favorite, Rusty's Seafood and Oyster Bar. It's the kind of place where you go for oysters, but you stay because the people there are just that great. Not the least of which is Matt. We invited Matt over on his day off to shuck oysters and hang out. And I asked him if he would join the podcast to share a little bit about his life's perspective. Because I had heard so many stories before, I knew it would be a good one. The thing about living life to the hilt is that it's available to everyone. It doesn't matter your age, where you live, what you do for work, or your life experience. It is a way that you decide to live your life, and no one tells that better than Matt in this episode. So enjoy. Welcome to this week's episode of the Full-Time Life podcast. I am joined today by my good friend, Matt. Matt and his girlfriend are really good friends with our whole family. I'd love to hear what the best thing you've done all week is.
Fantastic.
Pass you the mic.
This week is really cool because my aunt and uncle are here from France, and this is their first Thanksgiving ever. So being a part of this as a family is a really special day tomorrow. Yesterday, I got the chance to go out on the boat with them, and then we got home and had a beautiful dinner. And French people are that's what I love about the culture, is that they sit down, they enjoy each other's company, they have cheese, they have different wine for different things. And I think that we sat there for maybe 3 hours just talking and engaging in conversation. And I think that's, to me, a very special part of a dining experience, not just there to eat. Like, I don't think that's dining. And we got that opportunity like yesterday. So that was probably the best part of my entire week.
Less rushing, more enjoying.
Of course. And whenever you travel, I get the chance to travel a lot. I've been to many different countries, many different cultures, and you try to bring those things that you love about that culture back home with you. Then you pass that on. I think that's an important part of traveling, man.
Speaking of traveling, one thing that I've learned about you is that one of the ways you live life to the hilt is through your travels. Absolutely. What can you share?
Me and my lovely, beautiful girlfriend, Desiree, have a 1971 Volkswagen van. When we got it, we were just so excited. We completely tore it to the absolute most naked it has ever been, and then built it up ourselves and just put so much passion and love into this thing that became a part of our family. I think that's the start to any great journey, is pouring that passion into something to where it's not just a vehicle that you're going to go on the road with. Yeah, her name's Gertrude, a strong German name to get us through all the bumps in the road. And we did 27 states for about 4 months on the road. Met so many wonderful people especially the Volkswagen community. The community is about that peace and that love. And when someone sees an old van, they think back to that mentality of helping your neighbor out, where you're all one love. You're all the same. So when you get the opportunity to travel in a vehicle like that, it attracts people like that. We broke down probably 13 times. And every time we broke down, it was just like we were in the right spot at the right time. We had the opportunity to break down, and people would invite us over for dinner, and we became a part of that little tiny small town that we never probably would have stopped. And that became some of the favorite moments of the entire trip, was because we were broken down waiting on a part. I think that you can't be upset with what happens when something not as planned happens. When something not planned happens, that gives you an opportunity to explore the avenues of what's going to happen next. And I think that's the coolest part about traveling. I really do.
Have you always been like that in terms of your mindset of whatever happens?
Absolutely.
Really?
I have. I always say trust the journey. If you can trust your journey and trust in yourself and believe in those opportunities, that whatever your beliefs are, you can believe in yourself enough to just follow that mental journey of not being stressed out when something happens, not taking it and letting the anxiety rush through your body to the point where you're not making rational decisions. You're not enjoying life because you're so stressed out and anxiety ridden. So I think, yeah, for sure.
I've been on my own journey of just accepting what comes. When you get into a place where you believe that everything's happening for your good, it's easier to wrap your head around, cool, let's see where this goes. Let's see where this path goes.
Absolutely.
Goes down.
Yeah.
What was your surf trip to Puerto Rico about?
Man, so me and my buddy Joe, we are two peas in a pod. We just click like this. We love all the same things. And when we're together, really nothing bad could happen. Like we're just so, he's a lot like me, just very positive and very outgoing and just adventurous and spontaneous. And we just said, hey, tickets are $60 round trip. Let's go. It was a Tuesday through a Thursday. So we were like, our off days are Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're like, we'll take off Wednesday, pay $60 to go, and we just went. And everything that happened there, I remember the first day we walked to this restaurant and we were just getting in, whatever. The restaurant was closed and we're like, all right, bummer. We just walked there. And there's this lady there. And this was a small little breakfast spot, just trying to get little eggs and some pancakes. And this lady was like, oh, we're sorry, we're closed. But I'll tell you what, we got this amazing place about 4 miles down the road. It's the best place in town. Hop in. They had the kid in the back car. We didn't speak the same language, but it was just very special. And she drove us into this gated community and got the most special restaurant I've ever been to. This was day one. Like we had just woken up. And because we decided to walk to this little shack of a restaurant, the journey took us to this amazing, beautiful, on the beach, the most elegant looking restaurant I've ever seen in my life. And me and Joe are just sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, this is awesome. Day one. And the whole time we're like, oh man, we're winning. Like, we are winning.
This is every story they've ever heard from you. This was what we thought. We got this instead. It was amazing. And that's really cool. You're attracting some of it. I truly believe that you're attracting some of those positive experiences, but then you're choosing to view them as even better than you could have imagined.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that when you put those good energies out there, karma's like a boomerang. If you give out such positive energy and give yourself the opportunity to help someone, doing a small act, I think people sometimes give up on the human nature and they give up on that perspective of humans helping each other. And when you do a small act, it reciprocates and maybe they'll do a small act and then that's paid forward. And then that just starts something positive. And I think that it truly makes the world more positive.
Totally. I agree. You do not work a traditional 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You just said that you have Tuesday and Thursdays were your day off.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and also how you got into that and what's a typical work day look like? What is your flow? A little bit about how you do your own vibe check. So when you get there, you're like radiating this positivity.
I think a vibe check is a good way to put it because I do bartend at Rusty's and I love my job. I've been there since I was 15 years old. As my resume is I worked at Rusty's and I started there dishwashing and I couldn't even drive yet. So my dad had to pick me up late at night after dishwashing. And I got the chance to be a part of this family for the last 10 years of my life. It's where I met Desiree. It's where I've met so many of my best friends and even the management staff and the owners. They're positive role models for me when I was a kid and even growing now. So I think that being a part of that amazing family that Rusty's is definitely plays into why I'm so happy there. Restaurants can be a lot of drama and it's so minimal there that people are so connected as a family. It's not like we're just coworkers. We'll do things outside of work, go camping, go to Puerto Rico. Like those kind of things with your coworkers is important. And since I do bartend, I'm out late, like I get off late. So definitely not the normal waking up at 8 a.m.
Yeah, your schedule is so shifted.
Right. And yeah, more my flow. Like I'll wake up probably around 10ish and I'll get my coffee. And I think that something that's helped me is doing one simple task. One simple task right when you wake up. It could be making your bed or doing any simple tasks. That first engagement of working your mind will make other things in the day seem less. If you're waking up and then all day you're leading up to that stress of all the things you need to do today, you're going to procrastinate that feeling. And that feeling is going to drag on until it's time. And if you do that simple task, start your brain a little bit.
There's this whole idea of start with one thing completed and it provides momentum for your day. There is a lot of power in that.
So much power.
And then what are you doing before you go into work to pump yourself up? It sounds like you don't really have to because you're excited to go into work.
That, and I think it's just taking care of the mind, body, and soul. Like really just keep it light and relaxing. Drink some coffee. We have a beautiful view, so I'll sit outside and just be with the birds for a little bit and just keep that energy calm and relaxed. And if you go with any type of anxiety or stressed out to work, it will carry with you throughout your shift. So I just try to be as me as I possibly can until I get to work, then be me and continue to be me.
Where do you get your positive outlook on life?
Definitely my parents. My mom is such an outgoing, spontaneous, beautiful person. She definitely has such an outspoken personality. And my father, he went to Woodstock. He was a long-haired hippie that hitchhiked all the way here to Cocoa Beach. And he's a very calm, humble, and logical guy. He uses logic with everything. And I think both of those personalities have gained me the perspective at a young age that I was. Also, I think when I was traveling, when I was like 3-4 years old, I was going to these places like Austria and climbing rocks. It's definitely something that started that adventurous personality.
Travel keeps you really curious
Right.
and not stuck in the same. As much as I believe in routines and day to day, the cool thing about travel is it takes you out of your routine.
Absolutely.
You just have to make decisions on the fly.
Try new things, try new food, leave yourself open enough to conversate and engage in the conversation. You never know where that will lead. I've always said you could sit next to someone that could change your life. But you really can at any moment. So I really do follow that perspective.
That's true. What would your advice be to someone who is looking to do spontaneous travel?
If you have the time and the means, it doesn't even have to be something big. It can be something that, like we said, went to Puerto Rico for 2 days for $60 round trip. Like, depending on your situation or anything, just trust yourself, trust the journey, and be open to new experiences. Be open to sometimes it's not going to happen the way you like. And that's okay because it's going to lead you to something else, and just go with the flow, man. Trust your journey.
I love that. We're going to come to a close because I can hear the buzz around us.
I'm just happy to be here. I think that this is such a cool thing to do, especially Steph's such an awesome, amazing person. So I love this family and everything a part of it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Matt. I hope this conversation gave you encouragement to stay open to just how good life can be and a little glimpse into what it looks like to live life by your own design. I loved so much about this episode. There was so much that I really wasn't expecting. And the way that Matt talked about the owners and management being role models was not surprising. Hearing about how Matt starts his day with coffee and a view sounded just right. And mostly, I just really appreciated hearing how he embraces the unexpected and actually expects it to turn out better than he had originally planned. The day beckoned us onward when we were recording, so this was a very short conversation. To hear more, go find Matt at Rusty's, maybe invite him to check Oysters on his days off like we do, and you can always find me on Full-Time Lifestyle on Instagram or via my website at fulltimelife.style. Until next time.